إليك وتتودد إلي فلا أقبل منك، كأن لي التطول عليك، فلم يمنعك ذلك من رحمة لي والإحسان إلي والتفضل علي بجودك وكرمك، فارحم عبدك الجاهل وجد عليه بفضل إحسانك، إنك جواد كريم. الحمد لله مالك الملك مجري الفلك مسخر الرياح فالق الإصباح ديان الدين رب العالمين. الحمد لله على علمه بعد علمه، والحمد لله على عفوه بعد قدرته، والحمد لله على طول أناته في غضبه وهو قادر على ما يريد. الحمد لله خالق الخلق باسط الرزق فالق الإصباح ذي الجلال والإكرام والفضل والإنعام، الذي بعدك فلا يراه وقرب فشهد النجوى تبارك وتعالى. الحمد لله الذي ليس له من يعاذب فبلغ بقدرته ما يشاء. الحمد لله الذي يجيبني حين أنادي ويستر علي وكل عورة وأنا عاصي، ويعظم النعمة علي فلا أجازي، فكم من موهبة حنية قد أعطاني، وعظيمة مخوفة قد كفاني، وبهجة مونقة قد أراني، فأثني عليه حامدا وأذكره مسبحا. الحمد لله الذي لا يهتك حجابه ولا يغلق بابه ولا يرد السائل ولا يخيب عامله. الحمد لله الذي يؤمن الخائفين وينجي الصالحين ويرفع المستضعفين ويضع المستكبرين ويهلك ملوكا ويستخلف آخرين. والحمد لله قاسم الجبارين مبير الظالمين مدرك الحاربين نكال الظالمين سريق المستسرقين موضع حاجات الطالبين معتمد المؤمنين. الحمد لله الذي من خشيته ترعد السماء وسكانها وترجف الأرض وعمارها وتموج البحار ومن يسبح في غمراتها. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. الحمد لله الذي يخلق ولم يخلق ويرزق ولا يرزق ويطعم ولا يطعم ويميت الأحياء ويحيي الموتى وهو حي لا يموت بيده الخير وهو على كل شيء قدير. صلوات. اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك وأمينك وصفيك وحبيبك وخيرتك من خلقك وحافظ سرك ومبلغ رسالاتك، أفضل وأحسن وأجمل وأكمل وأزكى وأنمى وأطيب وأطهر وأسنى وأكثر ما صليت وباركت وترحمت وتحننت وسلمت على أحد من عبادك وأنبيائك ورسلك وصفوتك وأهل الكرامة عليك من خلقك. اللهم صل على علي أمير المؤمنين ووصي رسول رب العالمين عبدك ووليك وأخي رسولك وحجتي على خلقك وآية الكبرى والنبع العظيم، وصلى على صديقة الطاهرة فاطمة سيدة النساء العالمين، وصلى على سبط الرحمة وإمام الهدى الحسن والحسين سيد الشباب أهل الجنة، وصلى على أئمة المسلمين علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والخلف الهادي المهدي هججك على عبادك ومنائك في بلادك صلاة كثيرا دائما. اللهم صل على ولي أمرك القائم المؤمل والعدل المنتظر وهجتك وهفه بملائكة المقربين وأيده بروح القدس يا رب العالمين. اللهم اجعله الداعي إلى كتابك والقائم بدينك استخلفه في الأرض، وما استخلفت الذين من قبله. مكن له دينه الذي ارتزيته له. أبدله من بعد خوفه أمنا، يعبد لك يعبدك لا يشرك بك شيئا. اللهم أعزه وعزز به، وانصره وانتصر به، وانصره نصرا عزيزا، وافتح له فتحا يسيرا، واجعل له من لدنك سلطانا نصيرا. اللهم أظهر به دينك وسنة نبيك، حتى لا يستخفي بشيء من الحق مخافة عهد من الخلق. اللهم إنا نرغب إليك في دولة كريمة، تعز بها الإسلام وأهله، وتضل بها النفاق وأهله، وتجعلنا فيها من الدعاء إلى طاعتك، والقادة إلى سبيلك، وترزقنا بها كرامة الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم ما عرفتنا من الحق فحملنا، وما قصرنا عنه فبلغنا. اللهم المم به شعثنا، واشعب به صدعنا، وارتق به فتحقنا، وكثر به قلتنا، وعاذذ به ظلتنا، وأغني به عائلنا، وأقض به عن مغرمنا، واجبر به فقرنا، وسد به قلتنا، ويسر به يسرنا، وبيض به وجوهنا، وفك به أسرنا، وأنجه به طلبتنا، وأنجز به مواعيدنا، واستجب به دعوتنا، وعاطنا به سؤلنا، وبلغنا به من الدنيا والآخرة آمالنا، وعاتنا به فوق رغبتنا يا خير المسؤولين وأوسع المعطين. اشف به صدورنا، وعذب به غيظ قلوبنا، واهدنا به لما اختلف فيه من الحق بإذنك، إنك تهدي من تشاء إلى صراط مستقيم. وانصر به على عدوك وعدونا إله الحق آمين. اللهم إنا نشكو إليك فقد نبينا صلواتك عليه وآله، وغيبة ولينا، وكثرة عدونا، وقلة عددنا، وشدة الفتن بنا، وتظاهر الزمان علينا. فصل على محمد وآله، وعنا على ذلك بفتح منك تؤجله، وبضر تكشفه، ونصر تعزه، وسلطان بحق تظهره، ورحمة منك تجللناها، وعافية منك تلبسناها، برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم برحمتك في الصالحين فأثقلنا، وفي عليين فارفعنا، بكأس من معين من عين سلسبيل فاسقنا، ومن الهور العين، وبرحمتك فزوجنا من الولدان المقلدين كأنهم لؤلؤ مكنون فأقدمنا، ومن ثمار الجنة ولحوم الطير فأطعمنا، ومن ثياب السندس والحرير والاستبرق فالبسنا، وليلة القدر وحج بيتك الحرام وقتلا في سبيلك فوف فوفل فوف فوفق لنا وصالح الدعاء والمسألة فاستجب لنا. وإذا جمعت الأولين والآخرين يوم القيامة فارحمنا، وبراءة من النار فاكتب لنا، وفي جهنم فلا تغلنا، وفي عذابك وهوانك فلا تبتلنا، ومن الزقوم والضريع فلا تطعمنا، ومع الشياطين فلا تجعلنا، وفي النار على وجوهنا فلا تكببنا، ومن ثمار النار وسرابيل القطران فلا تلبسنا، ومن كل سوء يا لا إله إلا أنت، بحق لا إله إلا أنت، فنجنا فنجنا فنجنا. اللهم صل على محمد. اللهم إني أسألك أن تجعل فيما تقضي وتقدر من الأمر المحتوم في الأمر الحكيم من القضاء الذي لا يرد ولا يبدل، أن تكتبني من حجاج بيتك الحرام المبرور حجهم، المشكور سعيهم، المغفور ذنوبهم، المكفر عن سيئاتهم. وأن تجعل فيما تقضي وتقدر أن تطيل عمري في خير وعافية، وتوسع في رزقي، وتجعلني ممن تنتصر به لدينك، ولا تستبدل بي غيري. وأعوذ بجلال وجهك الكريم أن ينقضي عني شهر رمضان، أو يطلع الفرج من ليلة هذه، ولك قبلي تبعة أو ذنب تعذبني عليه. الله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إلهي وقف السائلون ببابك، ولاذ الفقراء بجنابك، ووقفت سفينة المساكين على ساحل بحر جودك وكرمك، ويرجون الجواز إلى ساحة رحمتك ونعمتك. إلهي إن كنت لا ترحم في هذا الشهر الشريف إلا من أخلص لك في صيامه وقيامه، فمن للمذنب المقصر إذا غرق في بحر ذنوبه وآثامه. إلهي إن كنت لا ترحم إلا المطيعين، فمن للعاسين. وإن كنت لا تقبل إلا من العاملين، فمن للمقصرين. إلهي ربح السائلون، وفاز القائمون، ونجا المخلصون، ونحن عبيدك المذنبون. فارحمنا برحمتك، واقتقنا من النار بعفوك، واغفر لنا ذنوبنا وبرحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. Um, Tonight we are having the second session of our workshop of raising children in the West. Before I commence, there's something that I need to uh, clearly explain and highlight to you. All your questions that you have sent to me, I have taken it from Ali. I don't want you people to think that when the PSYG asks you for questions, it's a PR exercise just to tick some boxes. I have collected these from them and I have gone through each and every one of them. Some of these items that have come in form of questions, it's a good thing that we couldn't answer it last week, because a lot of these things would be coming tonight in the workshop when we discuss it. That's point number one. Point number two, there are a few queries that I find interesting enough to address them because they're very relevant to the topic. There have been a few that have been way off topic, so I have chosen to ignore. It would be appropriate to streamline the entire program so that it's focused on the topic that we are discussing. And so things that are beyond the scope of the workshop, we have chosen. Ahsan, Jazakallah. We have chosen to ignore. There are a few questions that I have singled out because of the important nature of the questions with regards to the workshop that we are having. And so, inshallah, I will deal with these once I have presented my presentation today as part two of Raising Children in the West. In order to just start off, I would like you to have a look at the slides, just so that we can, just so that we link up what we spoke last time to what we are going to discuss today, tonight. Feel free after the lecture, during the lecture, to if you need certain points to be highlighted, certain questions to be raised, feel free. I can assure you that I will read through each and every one of them, just as I've read through these, and important ones that I feel really can be needed to be answered or need to be answered. I will pick them up, and if not today and tonight in this forum, I will utilize the majalis to answer them. Even if you're not over here, you will come to know that certain questions have been answered. You can always revert back to the Panchtan website and then pull out the video. Just to link you up, we had mentioned last time that raising children, there are two very important facets for it, and we just cannot be. Tonight's program might be a little long, so bear with me because we want to finish off things, and there are so much that we need to discuss, especially in terms of the dua. I would like to emphasize one thing very clearly, that in any of the work that you do, whether it is business, whether it is religion, whether it is tarbiyah, whether it is XYZ, many times when I talk to people and they say, we're planning this, we're planning that, one thing becomes very conspicuous, is the conspicuous absence of God in the entire planning structure. Even Surah Al-Kahf, you will see a verse will come when God categorically says, don't leave me out of your planning. Says, if you want to do something, لا تقل أنا أفعل ذلك غدا إلا أن يشاء الله. Don't say, I will do something tomorrow, except condition it with the permission of God. Say, inshallah. Many times when we see people planning, oh, we are doing this for our kids, we're doing that for our kids, you get the feeling that they feel they are in control of things. You cannot be in control of things till God is not part of the strategy and plan. And so, a very important part in the tarbiyat is that I find missing is nobody comes and asks me, what are the recommendations of the Masumin in terms of du'as of approaching God and seeking His help? What do we do to stop the social media? What do we do to refrain them from going to Facebook? What do we do so that they don't swear? What do we do? But you don't control things. If God is not in your plan, Riwayat tell us, if a person strategizes and plans something without taking God into the picture, God will nullify those efforts, saying, "You think you can run without me? Now I want to see how you will run without me. Inni la'uqatti'anna 'amala kulli mu'ammilin ghayri." You think and you have your hopes on something else other than me, I will break it up. But you trust me, and I will make avenues from you from vacuum and black space. So keep this in mind, and this is the very important part of the last part of our setup that we are going to have. So raising children, you have one where you have the dawa, which we started talking last week, what we can do. And then at the end, I will highlight to you what are the recommendations, mujarrab recommendations that have come from the Masumin that I shall share with you, inshallah. Needless to mention, I follow them myself. If I don't follow them myself, there is no point telling you. So all these things that I'm telling you is something that we have experienced firsthand, and then I'm sharing it out with others. Just to bring the current focus into highlight, the current focus that we're having is from years 5 to 15 years. The discussion is around individuals who are from 5 to 15. And if you remember last time, we had spoken about the discussion where the children need guidance. I'm not going to repeat it. It's all there on video. You can watch it over here on the video. Children need guidance. The second part is the children need you and your time. We've spoken about it. You've heard about it. And now we move on to the current discussion. You remember, inshallah, that when we had started the discussion, we had said the entire gamut of and the realm and the scope of discussion, we have classified them into 5 categories. So the first one was children need guidance. You need to guide them. Based on that, there's a question which I will answer a little later. Children need you and your time. Children don't need your money. Children don't need your gifts. Children don't need toys. Children don't need your money. They need you. You try to compensate your cases that right now the child is a millionaire. He's grown up. The mother lives in the house. This is Canada. The mother lives in the house. He comes inside, looks at the mother, walks away. But why are we doing that? So I have made sure that she is not short of anything. There are 2 maids that come and take care of her. Whatever she requires, money, I throw like water. She doesn't want your money, she wants you. Says, when I was young and I wanted her, she was never with me. That's remained in my mind. I can't get myself to be with her. She's my mother. I will give her everything. I will not stop her from getting anything. He's a millionaire. I put money like water. But I can't get over the fact that she didn't spend time with me when I was young. These are practical things. And what I've been saying even last time and this time is practicalities. The third thing now that we're starting in today's discussion, and we've got 3 things to cover, and then we come on to the du'as. So we might be extending a little bit. Once we pass a certain time, if you feel tired, just walk off. I will not feel offended. Just leave out. You can always come to the video afterwards. If you choose to say, ahlan wa sahlan, if you want to go away, not a problem with me at all. Current discussion, setting priorities and being a responsible parent. Now we're going into those, hardcore stuff that, and please don't feel offended. I don't know individual statuses in everybody's house. I'm just going to say what I see in communities and my experience and share with you. But before I go, I just want to put you an example, a hypothetical situation. And that hypothetical situation is this, that take the case of a community in which you have 2 individuals. And this you can identify with any community that you are in. You have in that community, you have a boy who's very muaddab, who's very mutakhallaq bi akhlaq hasan. He's adorned with beautiful akhlaq. He's reciting majalis. When Shab-e-Juma, he's over here. Majalis, he's there. Du'as of Maha Ramadan, he's there, reciting. Beautiful boy. Everybody swears by him in the community. This is our future. And that same community has another child who uses 4-letter words, who swears. The parents have to plead, "Kabhi to aa jao Imam Barga mein." He doesn't come inside. Majalis, he is not there. If he manages to come, he's outside. I want to ask you, these two individuals, they're both part of the same community. They're both part of the same age group. These are 17, 18, 19-year-old boy. Both of the same community, born in Australia, living in Australia. The same PSV has been catering to their requirements. They've gone to the same madrasa when they were young. They had the same niyaz that you are having. Both of them same. They go to the same school. What is it that makes this person what he is in terms of his attachment to the religion, and that person what he is in his attachment away from religion? And I'm not hinting towards anybody. This is an hypothetical scenario, but a scenario that has stark realities embedded in it. What is it? दोनों एक ही कम्युनिटी के, दोनों एक ही जो है वो कम्युनिटी पीएसवी दे, बचपन से जो है यहाँ आते जा रहे हैं, बचपन से जो है उसी मदरसे में जा रहे हैं, यहाँ नियाज में बैठते हैं, यही शब जुमा आते हैं, यही जो है लैलतुल क़द्र के अमाल बरसों से करते आ रहे हैं। मगर ये बच्चा 19 साल का, 19 साल जो है वो ऑस्ट्रेलिया में रहकर ना, he becomes like this and this person is like this. Where lies the difference? There's no difference in PSV telling them, okay, I'm giving you more attachment and you less attachment, that you can say. Goes to the madrasa, the same teacher teaches this child, same teacher teaches that child. Where is the difference? Why is the two of them grow up so differently? You know where lies difference? House, ghar, the environment in the house. That changes. When everything is same, then you have to look at what differs that is not common to both. School is common, PSV is common, programs are common, madrasa is common. The only thing that is not common is the environment in the house. That environment in the house made this person come and sit over here, recite dua nutba, dua iftitah, dua fulan, made the environment in that person's house run away from here. What it means is the parents need to play a very important role. And hence this issue about raising children. At times when people complain, it's you have to introspect. Have we gone wrong somewhere, or have we had some shortcomings? Having given this scenario, setting responsibilities for children, there was one question that came last time, and I'm a little bit annoyed with myself, but I had no option at that time. And the question was that, how do I stop, or how do you stop young boys from following individuals like Andrew Tate? If you remember that question, yeah? And I said, I don't know. When I went back, I was pretty annoyed with myself. It was a question, a valid question. Annoyed with myself as to why an answer was not given. But I had no answer because I don't know the age group of that child. I don't know whether the child is a male or a female. I don't know the family background. I don't know what school does he go to. But I had no option to say, honestly, I don't know how to deal with it. But today I want to address that. I do want that person to be felt that there is no solution. Everything is gone. No, there is a solution. Wait for it. Over here, it becomes very important over here. And this is where I said last time that 5 to 15, agar, if you take their mindset, if you grill their mindset, if you drill that mindset, if you brainwash them, if you want to call it. Because the sixth Imam said the same thing. Take your children, brainwash them before the evils of society begin to brainwash them with their ideologies. In setting priorities, this becomes very important. And I'd mentioned at that time, when this question had come out about Andrew Tate, I said, if between 5 and 15 work had been done right, this child would not have gone to Andrew Tate. And we have people in the community, your community, my community, who don't profess to Andrew Tate. Why? Because their mindset has been taken between 5 and 15, work polished, so that he doesn't go towards Andrew Tate. Where does it all stem from? It stems from this third point, setting priorities and being a responsible parent. Now, hear me out. As a responsible parent, it becomes our duty to set the priorities of a child as the child is growing up. We need to set the priorities, and the priorities lie in our hands. If wrong priorities go into the mind of this child, he will end up going to Andrew Tate. Do you not see in your community, as I see in my community, individuals, there will be people who will be sitting inside. and there will be youths who will be standing outside. Why is it that these individuals come inside? Why is it those people stand outside? Why is it that those standing outside need to be pleaded by the volunteers? Andar jao, majlis shuru ho chuki hai. And why is it that the volunteers don't need to plead with these kids who are inside? Go outside. This is no, we are inside. Why? Because the priorities have been set in life by their parents. From the time they were child, the parent says, you understand, you don't understand, you're going to sit over here. From the small age of 5 years, you start fine-tuning the priorities. When it is time for majlis, the priorities inside the Imam Barga. Whatever happens outside, to hell. You're not going there. Over our dead bodies, you're going to go there. Oh, but we are living in the West. We need to give them time and space to understand. What time and space for this young kid you want to give him to understand? Given an option between staying inside and listening to a Maulana who's reciting Majlis and everybody's crying and he doesn't understand anything, and all those boys standing outside taking out phones and showing YouTube programs, he's not going to want to sit inside over here if given an opportunity. You have to force him to sit inside. 1 day, 2 day, 1 week, 2 week, 1 month, 2 months, 1 year, 2 year, 10 years, 12 years. Then when he's 15, he'll make sure he's inside because his mind has been tuned. But you leave him, he's going to go astray. That attraction is much more than this. Priorities need to be set by us. Why is it that when there is a program in the mosque and then there is a conflict between the program over there and a program outside, the parents sacrifice the program in the mosque and take them outside? Masalan, किसी के घर पे जो है इफ्तार है, किसी के घर पे दावत है, इफ्तार छोड़िए. We want to go outside. Somebody says, come to our house for food. And there's a program in the mosque. Oh, because he's called, we have to go there. So you go there. So you know what message you're passing to the child? You're passing message to the child. Food in somebody else's house is more important than majlis in the house of Imam. This tuning takes place in a subconscious manner. You don't realize this. You don't realize this. But this takes place in the mind. This goes on year after year. Then 17 and 18 years. It is Shahadat of the 6th Imam. Now you tell him, oh, I want to, don't go over there. He says, no, for 15 years I've been doing that. I can't change. My mind is tuned. Priority setting becomes very important. Give you other examples. You have seen so many cases where parents in the house give importance to individuals we should not be giving importance to. Bollywood, movies, actors. You start talking good things about these individuals become good in their eyes. Then they want to ape and copy them. You setting wrong priorities. You need to be talking about religion in the house. You need to be talking about the imams in the house. You talk about Salman Khan and Amir Khan and Falan Khan and Falan Khan. That's how he's going to take them up and grow. And then you will see that his priorities are separate. It is our duty to set the priorities right. How do you train? What role model you need to take? When the priorities go wrong, then he is going to go to Andrew Tate. There's this question away that comes. How can we ask our 13 and 15-year boys and girls to stay aware or beware of bad company by not mentioning anyone's false actions or blaming or pointing at anyone? Why would you not name somebody? When you know somebody is a bad influence, name him. Andrew Tate is not a good man. Salman Khan is not a good man to follow. Fulan man is not a good man to follow. What's wrong in saying it? If somebody is not doing good to your child, why would you not mention it? ऐसे तो हम दिन भर बैठ के घर पे सब दुनिया भर की गीबत करते हैं. When it comes to our child, you don't want to tell this person is not right. You're not supposed to listen. You're not supposed to follow. What is so great about this by not mentioning? I mentioned last time, the Tawqiyya Mubarak of Imam Zamana comes out. Inna Shalmaghani qad kafar. Inna la'anatullahi alayhi. He mentions Shalmaghani by name and shame. If Imam can do that, why would he not name this? Don't go with that boy. That boy is not good. हर चीज दबी दबी अंदाज में नहीं होता. You have to open out with your child. Listen, that boy may be a community member, but that is not good. He's got bad friend circles. I told you about that friend of my son, from where he was and where he went. If you don't identify a 7-year, 8-year, 10-year-old boy or girl, how will they know and be in a position to judge if you don't tell them that this is bad. हर चीज दबे अंदाज में दुनिया भर की गीबत अब सबका नाम लेके करेंगे. But when it comes to protecting, you don't want to name them. Why would you not name them? Name them. If certain scholars are deviating your children, ilm ghaib imam ke paas nahi kaho, wo scholar ka naam na lo tum, na suno, haram hai tum par. As a parent, you can make things haram. क्यों सुन रहे हो उसकी तकरीरें? ना सुनो. When you know he's going to take away the iman, that person ilmul ghaib नहीं है इमाम के. वो कहता है कि इमाम के पास जो है वो विलायत तकवीनिया नहीं है. You take away विलायत तकवीनिया for an imam, you make him like you and me sitting in this center. You take away infallibility and ismat, that imam doesn't remain an imam anymore. Tell them, this scholar, you don't need to listen to him. नाम लो, name and shame. यहाँ जो है तुम्हारे बच्चे की ईमान और आखिरत का सवाल है. Not just that, his पूरी नस्ल का सवाल है. I know of. Have you ever heard of an incident whereby there's a meeting taking place? माह रमजान का टाइम है, शाम को 5 बजे है. एक इंसान जो है वो 4 बजे नमाज ज़ोहरान पढ़ता है, मीटिंग चल रही है, ज़ोहरान नहीं ज़ोहर पढ़ता है. This has happened yet. माह रमजान का टाइम है, मीटिंग चल रही है, 4 बजे वो इंसान उठता है, मैं जा रहा हूँ ज़ोहर की नमाज पढ़ने. ज़ोहर की नमाज पढ़ के he comes back, मीटिंग चल रही है, 5 बजे वो उठता है. भाई अब कहाँ जा रहा हो? ज़ोहर की तो नमाज हो गई, असर की पढ़ने जा रहा है. बोलते हैं नहीं, इफ्तार करने जा रहा हूँ. 5 बजे इफ्तार करने जा रहा है. बोलते हैं हाँ भाई, हम जिसकी वो करते हैं ना, तो वो तो इजाजत दे रहा है कि भाई 12 घंटे का रोजा है, सवेरे 5 बजे बंद किया, शाम को 5 बजे हम खोलेंगे. हाँ बस ठीक है, जाओ. Evening 5 o'clock, that person goes to open the fast. He comes back 6 o'clock, he's getting up again to go. अब कहाँ जा रहे हो? असर की नमाज पढ़ने. My God, which shariat is this that you recite asr namaz after opening the fast? What? Who is this person? This person. Tell your child this person is not the right person. कौन सी शरीयत में आप जो है पहले इफ्तार करेंगे, फिर असर की नमाज, फिर असर की नमाज पढ़ेंगे? You need to shout this out. Name and shame. Don't stop. You name and shame, and if that ideology penetrates into your girl or your son's mindset, good luck taking that out afterwards. हमारे जो घर में बातचीत होती है वो we've got, we talk about 10,000 different things. But as the Masumeen have told us, there are certain formative years. See, when they become 19, 20, they become friends. Then you can sit, you can talk with them, full-on, with the difference, it will come. With a little difference. But at 4 and at between age of 5 and 15, you can't be friends in a level that absolutely everything goes right. You need to be very careful what you speak, because everything is going. These 5 to 15 is such formative years. You can't understand everything that you say, just sinks inside. You need to be very careful what you talk in the house. You need to be very careful whom you praise in the house. You praise one actor, understand that person now becomes respectable in your child's eyes. Aage jaake he does something and he begins to ape that child. Khalas. There's no way you're going to take it out, because you have praised that individual. You have elevated that individual in that child's rank. Be careful what you speak in your house when you're praising. In this formative years, you need to focus on religion, on akhlaq, on scholars. Don't go beyond the things which you raise and elevate, whom you're never sure how they're going to behave. You see the sports personalities, these celebrities, what they wear, what they do. And because of them, our children start using those sort of things. Earrings and nose rings and piercings and full on. Make sure these people don't have any respect in your house. If these things talk, just brush them aside. These are not of our caliber. They've got their own life. Lakum dinakum waliya din. They've got their own religion, we've got our own. Point number 3 in becoming a responsible parent. Second, point number 2, very important, very important. I'm going to give you an example of an event that took place. This is so important. And related to this, a few other things will come up as incendiary, as subsidiary talks. See, somebody comes to the 6th Imam and says, Yabna Rasulullah, Sadiq Ali Muhammad Ja'far ibn Muhammad and Sadiq. He says, Yabna Rasulullah, when I'm sitting next to you, I begin to think of the Akhirat. I'm more inclined towards akhirat, more inclined towards dunya, towards Allah, more inclined towards ibadat, ita'at. The moment I go away from you, I'm back to square one. Again, dunya, money, earnings, fulan, fulan. Says, Mawla, what is this? Imam says, it's not your fault. There's nothing wrong with you. So, but then I'm having a dual personality. He says, it's not a dual personality. But when you are close to us, our spirituality is so strong, हमारी रूहानियत इतनी शदीद है कि तुम्हें जो है सैतरा में ले लेती है. Then you begin to think like us. You want to come close to us. You want to think about the akhirat. You want to think about God. When you go away, you go outside the aura of the influence of our रूहानियत and you go home, then dunya takes you back again. You know, पता है इसका मतलब क्या? इसका मतलब मैं आपको ये बताऊं. लेकिन रवायत में we've got कि जब भी जो है इमाम हुसैन अलैहिस्सलाम की मजलिस होती है ना तो शहजादी तशरीफ लाती है, आपको पता है. हमारे पास रवायत है कि जब भी हजरत अब्बास के मसाइब होते हैं ना तो इमाम ज़माना अज्जलल्लाहु ताला फरजहु शरीफ तशरीफ लाते हैं. अब आप मुझे एक बात बताइए, ये इमाम बारगाह में शब जुमा में मुनासिबात में in all these events that take place, या मुनासिबात विलादात, when these masab take place of Imam Hussein Hazrat Abbas, so हमारा अकीदा ना कि बीबी comes. When Bibi comes, she comes with her personality, yes, with her persona. यहाँ छठे इमाम के पास एक इंसान आता है, कहता है, when I'm sitting next to you, I'm thinking about the akhirat, get overtaken by the aura that you exude. What happens when somebody comes within the range of the aura of Hazrat Zahra salamullah? This Imam Barga is what holds the spirituality and the iman of your kids and my kids, and your iman and my iman. Every Shab Juma, when you come here, the Masab of Hussein Bibi comes, we constantly are under the aura of her ruhaniyat. Every Shab Juma, every Viladat, every Munasabat, when you have these individuals' personalities coming and your kids keep coming, they're exposed to that ruhaniyat. It tends to keep them on the right path. This Imam Barga and the center, not just here, wherever, outside it is all muck. It's all physical. It's all face, physique, stomach, and below the stomach. They don't understand anything else. Spirituality says nothing is spirituality. It's all material. It's all muck out there. It's all dirt out there. Aapke bache, you don't know what they're exposed out there. You just don't know. You don't know, I'm telling you. You need to be in the school setup to know what happens. You need to be knowing where they go to know what happens with them. They face massive challenge. आपको लगता है माशाल्लाह मेरा बच्चा नाश्ता हमारे साथ करता है, कितना जो है वो एकदम नॉर्मल बच्चा है. और दोपहर को संडे सैटरडे संडे माशाल्लाह साथ में हम जो है वो आज क्या बटर चिकन थी, हम बटर चिकन खाते हैं. ही सो नाइस माशाल्लाह, दे सो रिलैक्स. कभी आइसक्रीम के लिए लेके गए, कभी यहाँ लेके गए. My friends, you don't know the turmoil that he's going through or she's going through in the mind. What he's showing you is just the physical aspect. Inside him and her, there's a turmoil. They are trying to come to grips with society and religion. The Nafs Ammara wants them to go to a certain direction. Deen is holding them back, but how long? You know, you have a seesaw. That seesaw, when the weight is more on one side, will always go on one side. These kids have an exorbitant amount of negative influence outside the house. It is always like this. The only positive equilibrium bringing an equalizing factor for this negative influence of this material evil society is the Imam Barga. It's the only place in the city of yours, or wherever the Shias are there, that can exert or assert a positive opposite influence to make that seesaw balance. This place. And if parents don't set their priorities right of bringing over there, you are pushing your children into depravity. You're doing dhulm upon them. Because as it is, they're exposed to such evils outside, you're not providing a positive outlook to that, to their lives, to their challenges. What happens is it constantly remains this way. A child who keeps coming to the Imam Barga, the seesaw will be balanced. The evil force is now negated by the positive force of the Imam Barga. But if you don't bring your child to the Imam Barga, the negative force so overwhelms, and this child can go anywhere. He will go clubbing, he will go dating, he will go pubbing, he will go one night stands, he will go into weed, he will go into hard drugs. Because you have not provided him a positive counter influence to the evil influences. It will take over. It will take over. अब कितना भी जो है वो पहाड़ी की चोटी पे डंका बचाएगा, नहीं हमारा बच्चा नहीं जाएगा. There is no way. You've put him into the drowning water. He doesn't know how to swim. Give him a raft. Give him something to swim on. The only place in this country, in the city where you are there, and I'm not just talking about Melbourne, any city, is this Imam Barga, where the Qadam of Masumin come. They provide a positive influence to counter the evils of society. If a parent is not bringing the child over here, don't complain when the child is 20 and you see things that you don't want to see from your child. You have pushed him over there. You should have brought him here from the age of 5. आज आप लोग यहाँ जमा होते किस लिए? Go back to mind. We tend to forget when we were kids. We are sitting over here because our parents would hold us by the ear and said, sit down over here. हम नहीं समझते. To hell with you, understand or no. You are going to sit over here. And that's the reason you guys are sitting over here. माँ बाप को दुआ देनी चाहिए. So if they have done for us, can't you do it for your children? Oh no, we need to let them think on their own. Don't fall prey to these flowery words of the West. Nafs Ammara will always take a person towards evil. You have to give him the Nafs Lawwama. That Nafs Lawwama has to come from the Imam Bargas. और आप देख लीजिए, 99% of the time, आप देख लीजिए, आप मेरी बात पर क्यों भरोसा कर रहे हैं? Those people who are now taking charge of the community, those people who are serving, those people who are volunteers, those kids who are coming over here, you'll find one thing very common. They had parents who brought them to the Imam Barga. Prove me wrong, and I'm willing to debate with you. There will be shad and nadir instances. I'm not saying no. Overwhelming majority of those who are serving are because of their parents. For example, Ali. Ali. Yeah, Ali. Where is Muhammad Hassan? Where is Raza? Why do you think they're becoming like this? Why do you think they're putting the fingers into every pie? Why are they always coming out over here? Because their parents are always over here. It was I first came to know the kids and I came to know the parents. Why is it that they are over here? Because the parents are always over here serving the community. You would leave out the Imam Barga at your own peril for your kids. Set the priorities right. Imam Barga, Majalis, top priority. Anything that stands up in opposition to it has to suffer compromise. Has to. Those who are young, those who are having children now recently, this is how you need to start. From the very beginning. Nothing, no football match, no cricket match, no shadi, no nothing shall ever stand in competition to the Imam Barga or the Majalis. Everything has to take a back seat. Once that is there, then you will find this child when he grows up. Any other thing that comes against Majlis, he'll say no. Because for 15 years I've been taught this. For 10 years I've been taught this. It's been grilled into my mind. Set the priorities right. Andrew Tate doesn't come inside that. When priorities are not set right, then you have people like XYZ being taken into it. Point number 4, in terms of being a respectful parent, a responsible parent, and setting priorities. I don't know how this works. But, we see people having a dual personality. Again, look, I don't know you guys. I'm here for the next 4 or 5 days. I've been here for the past 7 or 8 days. But why do people have a dual personality? Why? When I mean a dual personality, जब ये father या mother जो है वो जब घर से बाहर होती है तो इतने प्यारे होते हैं माशाल्लाह, इतने प्यार से बात करेंगे, इतनी मुअद्दबाना बात करेंगे, mixing with everybody, enjoying. They come into the house, they just change, they become a monster. गुस्सा, anger, shouting, थोड़ी चीज पे. यहाँ जो है कुछ पानी गिर गया, अरे कोई मसला नहीं है, मौला का घर है, कोई बात नहीं, जाने दो माहिरम. घर में बेटा अगर तो गिरा दे तो एक तमाचा पड़ जाएगा. Why this dichotomy? Why? This dichotomy is not good. You're setting wrong priorities to the child. You're telling the child Outside, you behave somewhere else in a different manner. Inside, you behave in a different manner. When this goes up, you know what happens? When this goes up, that's why you find ladies, when they're coming to the mosque, they will wear hijab. When they're going outside, they will take out their hijab. Why? This is the reason. They've seen when they were kids. The fathers and the mothers behave differently at home, and they behave differently outside. So this become into this thing. हम मदरसे में आएंगे, मस्जिद में आएंगे तो हम हिजाब करेंगे. बाहर जाएंगे तो हम निकाल देंगे. You try to analyze why. It boils down to the priorities that the parents have set. ये आप ही के बच्चे हैं. Why are you so angry with them? Why do you shout so much at him? दोस्तों के साथ तो इतना जो है आप झगड़ते नहीं हैं, इतना बौखलाते नहीं हैं. They are not your blood. These are your blood. They are not going to run your legacy. These people are going to run your legacy. You need to be good with these people. You absolutely change. घर में you're a monster. जैसे घर में घुसे बच्चे यहां वहां घुस जाते, बाबा के थप्पड़ मार देगा अभी. It's not right. Priorities need to be set. As a father, I'm accessible to you. If you as a father or a mother are not accessible to the children, understand this. They need guidance. They need to go and have a resort to someone. If you as a parent are not the person that they can trust, they will find somebody in the society. If they find somebody in the society, rest assured you have no control over whom they find. They'll show them videos and movies and porn and what. And then after a few years, wow, have a dual personality. Imam Sadiq says a mu'min is like the kaful yad. ये जो है ना, ये इसको कहता है kaful yad. Everything is plain. इसमें कोई ऊंच नीच नीचे पीछे नहीं है, बस जो है वो ये है. इसी तरह. Be like this outside and in the house. Don't be a monster in the house. गुस्सा किसको दिखाना है आपको? वाइफ के ऊपर. गुस्सा किसको दिखाना है? हस्बैंड के ऊपर, बच्चों के ऊपर. They are the ones you should be good. They are your blood, man. They are your blood. खून है आपका. I've seen so many cases. बाहर so nice. सब लोग तारीफ करते हैं. अरे शेख तो बहुत अच्छा इंसान. घर पे आके देखे, शैतान है, शैतान. But why? Should you not be the other way around? I'm not saying you be shaitan outside, but they are your family. I have known kids, they worried, 6:30, Baba aayenge aap meet me. Sab apne apne room mein chale jao. Is that how a father should be? Is that how a father should be? ये हमें अमीरुल मोमिनीन ने सिखाया है. वो यतीमों को अपने जो है गोद में बिठाकर जो है वो मत चढ़ाया करते, शहद चढ़ाया करते. Be a responsible parent. Own your responsibility. Your job is not to indulge in an act and then get a child as an outcome of that act. As a responsible parent, you have to take care of your child. So this was as far as setting priorities. Thank you. So, can we have it flashed on the screen, please? इसको जो है वो auto lock कर दीजिए never पर. The next one, and it will come up. The next one is certain don'ts. You can't do those in this in the house. There's no way. If you want children to come out good, you can't do these things in the house. Look, they might be pretty offending. They might be pretty hurting. But as I said, I don't know who you guys are, what your state in the house is. It's just that I have to identify जिसके साथ जो लागू पड़ता है वो ले ले and then rectify and reform. सही है? One thing that should always be a no-no in the house is there should be no hypocrisy. Don't be a hypocrite in the house. Hypocrisy means कहो कुछ, करो कुछ. दिल कुछ कहता है, ज़बान कुछ कहती है. This is called hypocrisy. Let me give you examples. And this is one of the worst things that you can do for the tarbiyat of your child. Don'ts. Hypocrisy. आप बच्चे से कहें बेटा म्यूजिक हराम है और आपकी गाड़ी जब चालू हो तो सबसे पहला नगमा हो वो मोहम्मद रफी का हो. This child will never become he's having a massive problems. You tell him something and then you do the opposite. You tell the child hijab is important. The wife goes, be hijab or bad hijab. Don't do this. Be straight faced with your children. These children are very smart. They pick up, they understand. बाप कह कुछ रहा है, कर कुछ और रहा है. They look, these kids from 5 to 15, they look upon you as a role model. When the role model does what this does, they're left confused. Is what he's saying correct or is what he's doing correct? कहते हैं मौलाना की बात सुनो, मौलाना की बात सुनो. मौलाना कहता है कि शेव ना करो, बाप खुद शेव कर रहा है. मौलाना की बात सुनना है तुम्हें. क्या सुनना है? वो तो कह रहा है शेव नहीं करो. देख रहा हर सवेरे जो है आप फिलिप्स का रेजर लेके शेव किए जा रहे हैं. This is one of the worst things that this child will never learn Islam. No, he will learn Islam in the madrasa, he will never practice it. Because the person that he's looking up to is giving him diverse and dual signatures. He doesn't know what to do. बोलने पर हम अमल करें कि करने पर अमल करें. So don't do that. If you want your child, the tarbiyat should be good. Make sure you do what you tell them, and make sure you do what you tell them to listen from the Maulanas. It's difficult, huh? It's difficult. मेरा सबसे जो है वो प्यारा सीरियल आ रहा है शबे जुमा को, और मौलाना ने कहा जो है वो दुआ कुमैल के लिए आ जाओ. अब क्या कहे? सीरियल देखिए कि दुआ कुमैल में जाए. Act what you preach. These are very important. Don't do this. Don't be hypocritical. जो सही है वही करो और वही बोलो. They pick up. They really pick up. And the families that work, act on what they say, their kids turn out to be good ones. Because they're seeing the parents acting and walking the talk. You just walk the walk, it doesn't work. Or talk the talk, doesn't work. You have to walk the talk. They look at these telltale signs. These children, kids are smart, huh? Don't think they are foolish. ध्यान नहीं दे रहे, हम कुछ भी कर दे. They understand. They look at your हराम में म्यूजिक सुनना, और जब भी बाबा का फोन बजता है वो तो जो है वो तराने बजे जा रहे. These are small things you need to take care of. You need to be certain that your phone doesn't have the tunes of Bollywood movies, because then you keep telling them haram hai, but they will not tell you because out of respect. Yeah, baap bade hai jo hai, they say he's saying haram, but look at his tunes. Caller tunes is music. It's not a joke to bring up a child now. Choti cheezon par aapko dhyan dena hai. To the extent that the alarm, that the bell that rings in your phone passes a message to your child, how sincere you are in your tarbiyat to the child. I see so many people talking big. Oh, yeah, hai, deen hai, fala hai, fala hai. Moment bell rings, you know. That's how nonsense he's talking. एक फोन के बेल के रिंग तो आप चेंज नहीं कर सकते. You want a नगमा, you want a Bollywood song, then you say, oh, हम तो हमारे बच्चों को बहुत तरबियत करते हैं, हम म्यूजिक नहीं सुना. What? ये क्या है? Small things are. You guys need to be aware when you grow up and you have kids. These make a big impact. You know child psychology when you go. You've heard it. Elders नहीं समझेंगे. Another very important point. In the house, if you've got parents in the house, this is again tarbiyat of children. If you've got parents in the house, don't ever disrespect your parents in front of your children. Forget about not disrespecting. Parents बच्चों के सामने ना करिएगा. It will boomerang back on you. बड़ों के लिए नहीं, अपने parents के लिए खुद की फिक्र करो. See, Allah has got a very short fuse on two things. ये हमारे जो है वो हमारे experience को बयान करते हैं. Two things Allah has got a very short fuse on. He may be sabir. Alhamdulillah ala hilmihi ba'da ilmih. दुआ इफ्तिताह में पढ़ते हैं. अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह अला हिल्मिही बाद कुदरते. कुदरत है लेकिन अपने आप को रोक के रखा है. इसको मैं हर चीज दे रहा हूं. नमाज सुबह के लिए नहीं उठ रहा है. एक झटके में इसके तमाम जो है वो उसकी जिंदगी तबाह कर सकता हूं. लेकिन अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह अला हिल्मिही बाद कुदरते. कुदरत है लेकिन रोक के रखा. मुखालिफत कर रहा है, doesn't matter. इतना सब्र है, I will wait till he comes to me. This is the same thing. He's short on two things. Extremely short fuse. Despite the fact that he's got infinite sabr, when it comes to two things, he's short on fuse. One is Wilayat of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. It's too short a fuse. सल्लु अला मुहम्मदिन व अला मुहम्मद। वो हमने दास्तान को बयान किया था सूरह मारिज, सअल साइलुन बिअज़ाबिन वाक़िअ, गदीर का वाक़या हुआ, आप सुने। फिर जाके रसूल खुदा से पूछा, आपने कहा, हमने कहा अल्लाह की तरफ से, अल्लाह की तरफ से आए गदीर का वाक़या। तो परवरदिगार अगर तो ये है तो आसमान से पत्थर को नाज़िल कर। एट दैट पॉइंट सअल साइलुन बिअज़ाबिन वाक़िअ। विद अमीरुल मोमिनीन ही इज वेरी सेंसिटिव, डोंट मेस अराउंड। अमीरुल मोमिनीन के साथ मेस नहीं करिए, उनके बिलाज। दैट इज वन। Second, parents. He's got a short fuse with parents. Don't mess around with parents for your sake. Don't mess around with parents in front of your kids. If you got elders, किसी भी किस्म की जो है वो रुखाई ना बरतिए. This child picks up. If my mother is doing this to my father's mother, it means her in-laws. It means even I can do it. If my father is talking rudely to my grandfather, that means it's okay. When you grew up, that's gone into his mindset. It's coming back. Not because just the tarbiyat and the priorities you've set wrong. It's because it's the algorithm of God that comes into play. There are certain algorithms that you need to pray for the algorithms to work or do something. So sadaqah hai, aap paise nikaliye, $1 nikaliye, aap de dijiye. Once you give that sadaqah, the algorithm of sadaqah comes into effect. 70 benefits. नागहान मौत से बचाता है, एक्सीडेंट से बचाता है, रिस्क में इजाफा करता है, फला. Till this money is in your pocket, that algorithm is not triggered. You give it to a faqir, that algorithm gets triggered. But there are certain algorithms that don't need any action to be triggered. You know what is that? माँ बाप के दिल में अगर जो जरा भी ठेस पहुंची ना, they don't have to raise the hand and say, परवरदिगार मैं नाराज हूं मेरे बच्चे से. Moment they are hurt, the algorithm gets triggered. इसके लिए उलमा कहते हैं, पेरेंट्स को एडवाइस करते हैं, अगर जो छोटी मोटी चीजों से इफ योर चाइल्ड हैज अपसेट यू, फॉरगिव हिम इमीडिएटली. आपने कहा पानी लेकर आओ, पहली बार पानी नहीं लाया, बुरा लगा, फौरन माफ कर दो. क्योंकि certain algorithms don't even wait for you to tell God I'm upset. The moment the heart is hurt, the algorithm comes into effect. उसके रिस्क में कमी आएंगी, उसके मार्क्स में कमी आएंगी, उसके सक्सेस में कमी आएंगी. इसके लिए उलमा कहते हैं to the parents, अगर जो छोटी मोटी चीज है ना कि you don't want to carry too far, moment you get upset, forgive. अल्लाह मैंने बख्श दिया इसे. Because you don't do it, the algorithm will come and affect your child. You don't need to pray to God. Let alone somebody is really hurt. If somebody is hurt, then you're in trouble. Because God says, I'm not going to wait for this parent to come and pray to me कि मैं मेरे बेटे से नाराज हूं. Says, I will pick it up myself. You know, there are certain cases in the prosecution that you have to first lodge a complaint and then the prosecution takes over. Certain cases, agar jo malay aam mein ho gaya, the prosecution, the district attorney, the government machinery can themselves take it up and say, we want to follow this up. This one is like this one. God says, I won't wait for that father or the mother to pray to me कि मैं नाराज हूं. I know the state, I will put the algorithm into action. And worse if it's done in front of the child. Because then this child knows it's okay if my father is brusque to my mother. But I'll also be brusque to my mother because my father is. मेरे फादर ने जो है मेरे दादा के साथ जो है कुछ उटपटांग बात करनी. हाँ ला रहा हूं बाबा, इसमें क्या, जरा बिजी हूं मैं. This child picks up. Time will come, he will tell this same thing to you. For two reasons. One, because of the tarbiyat and the drilling that you've done. And second, the algorithm, the sunnat of God. With parents, as you sow, so shall you reap. It will come back. This is one thing with parents that God says, I will not wait till the akhirat. I told you, wilayat is one thing. And parents, रजअत का कॉन्सेप्ट ये है कि तुमने हमारे हुज्जतों को मारा, दुनिया में कत्ल किया, दुनिया में पहले तो हम तुम्हें कत्ल करेंगे उन्हीं के जरिए से, फिर आखिरत में हम तुम्हारा अंजाम देखेंगे. The concept of rajat is exactly this. Yazid, you killed Hussein. In this world, you need to be killed by Hussein. आखिरत में फिर हम तुमको देख लेंगे. You will come back. Hussein will come back. Hussein will kill you. Then when you come to me again, second time we will take care of you. As I said, two things very short fuse. Vilayats and parents. Parents का भी ऐसा है. God says, अगर आपने अपने parents के साथ कुछ किया, we will not wait till आखिरा. We will subject you to the same thing at the hands of your children. फिर आखिरत में जो हम देखा जाएगा वो हमारे पास है. So be careful when you're with your parents. Don't be brusque. Don't show anything that the child can pick up. Okay, this is doable. If you don't want your child to behave in a certain way with you, don't behave in that way with your parents. It's criteria number absolute zero. There's something that we usually observe in the West. और मुझे समझ में नहीं आता कि जो है वो how even educated people tend to fall prey to these sort of things. And that is that, देखिए, we have been asked to be lenient, and this is again a don't that we need to be careful about. We've been asked to be lenient with our kids. अपने kids के साथ lenient रहो. But to what issues to be lenient? हर issue में lenient? हर issue में आप lenient रहेंगे? The problem is that we take this issue about leniency so far that we forget the core issue. देखिए, जब दीन की बात होती है, there should be no leniency. अगर जो फॉर एग्जाम्पल एक लड़की बालिग हो गई 9 साल की, जो है एग्जाम है उसके 11 बजे, उसको सवेरे नहीं उठना है, रात भर पढ़ती बैठी है, वो 5 बजे 4 बजे सोई है, 6 बजे नमाज का टाइम है, बेचारी थकी हुई है, शी इज सो टायर्ड, शी स्टडीड फॉर द होल नाइट, आज के दिन नमाज कज़ा होने दो. What leniency is that? There is no leniency. You want this girl to attain success at the cost of the disobedience of God. Over my dead body, there's going to be. And even if she gets success, that success will not last for long. It will be pulled away by God. You can't build a structure on the disobedience of God. इसीलिए जब अबू सुफियान ने पूरे लश्कर को मौला के पास लाके खड़ा कर दिया कि हम आपको देते हैं, अपनी खिलाफत ले लो, he refused. Khilafat of God. He says, I don't want it. Because nothing comes good out of haram things, out of batil things. So be careful about these things. Don't tolerate things. I'll give an example. This is a friend of mine, very close friend of mine. एक दफा जो हम जा रहे थे together with, इसके छोटे-छोटे बच्चे थे, 7, 8 and 9 years. So I'm giving you practical examples so that you understand where you draw the line. Oh, we have to be lenient. This is the West. We have to give them space. वो word बहुत आता है. Give them space. What space? What space you want to give them? आगे अपने बच्चों को स्पेस दो. मासूमी ने कहा अपने बच्चे की हिदायत करो. अपने बच्चों को अली के बारे में बताओ, दीन के बारे में बताओ. We were sitting. Then we just came out and something happened with the car. So the father said something. He's probably around 40, 41. So father said something. This boy turns to him and says, Baba, you're silly. This is not how it is. And the father started to laugh. He said, what? Baba, that's silly. You're silly. And he started to laugh. I think so. I said, Fulan, what are you laughing for? What's so funny about it? You heard what your son said to you? He's called you silly. Although he keeps telling me, sometimes he tells me, Baba, you're crazy. I said, अक्कल नहीं है तुझे? आज वो silly और crazy बोलता है क्योंकि जो है वो 7-8 साल का है. A time will come when this will become so much that he'll be 17 and he'll tell you F-O. Now you try to stop him at 17. Because you did not stop him at silly, it goes to that 4-letter word. Why do you give him the audacity to say silly to a father? Whoever says, Baba, you're crazy, that crazy leads to that 4-letter word. Then he said, Mera bachcha, I don't know, samajh mein nahi aata kya karu, main aapko dua hai to bataye. What dua? There's no dua for you. There is no dua for you. You tolerated him when he said crazy and silly. Now tolerate him when he uses the 4-letter word. अगर जो पहले से ही रोक दिए होते ना तो फिर यहाँ नौबत नहीं पहुंचती. What leniency you're talking about? What space? Be careful. Akhlaqiyat mein aur deen mein, there has to be no leniency. If you have a child 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, वो तो छोटा है, आहिस्ते सीख लेगा. कैसे आहिस्ते सीख लेगा जब आप ही उसे नहीं सिखाएंगे तो? If you don't teach him, how is he going to learn? You are supposed to be teaching him by telling him silly and crazy is good. It starts going. It starts getting up. At times he'll come, he'll tell you, shut up. And he'll say, oh, bachcha hai 9-10 saal ka. Then it will start going till the time he uses that word. घर में बोल दिया तो आप जो है दबा देंगे. मस्जिद में कभी बोल दिया 10 आदमी के सामने, क्या करिएगा आप फिर? ला तलूमूनी लूमू अनफुसकुम, शैतान कह रहा है आखिरत में, मुझे मलामत ना दो, खुद जो है अपनी ये अमल कर रहे थे। Be careful, don't fall into the spray of these fancy words. We need to let them develop on their own. ये बेचारी 7-8 साल की बच्ची, how will she develop on her own till you know? उस 7-8 साल की बच्ची के केमिस्ट्री और साइंस के लिए आप इतने बड़े बड़े ट्यूशन रखते हैं, मत दीन के लिए जो है आप कहेंगे she learns on her own. What logic is this, you tell me? मैथ्स के लिए आप ट्यूशन रखिएगा, स्पोर्ट्स के लिए जो है आप ट्रेनिंग रखिएगा, साइंस के लिए आप ट्यूशन रखिएगा, दीन के लिए वो खुद लर्न करे। अच्छा, कैफ तहकुमून, किस तरह आप हुक्म करते, किस तरह आप जो है समझते? यानी दीन इतना जो है पस्त है कि वो खुद सीख लेगी। मैथ्स इज मोर इंपॉर्टेंट। यही वजह है, वो मैं बताया ना कि आयतुल्लाह बहजत कहते कि इमाम ज़माना जब किसी से मुशर्रफ अपनी ज़ियारत से मुशर्रफ किया तो कहते हमारे शिया हमको पानी के घूंट बराबर भी हमारी अहमियत नहीं करते। ये अल्फाज इमाम ज़माना के, दे डोंट टेक केयर ऑफ अस, दे डोंट कंसिडर अस इवन टू द इंपॉर्टेंस ऑफ अ सिप ऑफ वाटर। इसे बोलने की बात है, अल्लाहुम्मा अज्जिल वली कल फरज। So be very careful, don't be too lenient. देखिए बाकी सब चीज में, मम्मी मुझे जो है वो आज इस आलू का सालन नहीं खाना, ओके फेयर इनफ, नॉट अ प्रॉब्लम, बेटा क्या खाओगे तुम? मुझे आज जो है बर्गर खाना, ओके नो प्रॉब्लम। But he tells you silly, he says hello, shut up. Next time you say that, going to be difficult. You have to understand कौन से चीज में leniency, कौन से चीज में strictness. He wants to wear a red shirt, you want to wear him a blue shirt. आप ये blue shirt पहनिएगा बेटा, मम्मी आज मेरा दिल करता है रेड का, ओके नो प्रॉब्लम, रेड। But when it comes to going to masjid, नहीं आज हमारा दिल करता है हम स्पोर्ट्स में जाए, ना नो स्पोर्ट्स, शबे जुमा नो स्पोर्ट्स। You have to realize when you have to be flexible, when you have to be strict. The choice will be yours, the consequence also will be yours. सही है ना? Another thing, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट, देखिए घर के अंदर बच्चों के सामने नेवर debase any आलिम, किसी आलिम की बेहुरमती ना करिएगा। I'll give you example. Don't tell me I'm not saying the truth. वेडनेसडे को मौलाना साहब से मुलाकात हुई, आपके माशाल्लाह रिस्पेक्टेड स्कॉलर मौलाना हुज्जतुल इस्लाम कमाल मेहदवी साहब, आपके रेजिडेंट आलिम है, इसलिए जो है मैं आपको उनका मिसाल दे रहा हूँ। अब जो है वो बुध के दिन जो है वो घर पे आए, मस्जिद में आए नमाज पढ़ने के लिए, जनाब उनके बच्चे के साथ, छोटे 7-8 साल के बच्चे के साथ। एंड मौलाना साहब सलाम अलैकुम, कैसे आगा साहब, आप ठीक है माशाल्लाह, फलां फलां, कल का क्या प्रोग्राम, आप शब जुमा की मजलिस आप पढ़िएगा? कहते हैं इंशाल्लाह हम पढ़ेंगे। कौन? मौलाना कमाल मेहदवी साहब कहते हैं। ओह माशाल्लाह माशाल्लाह, आपकी मजलिस हमें बहुत पसंद है, इंशाल्लाह हम जो है हम कल आएंगे, बच्चों को भी साथ में ले आएंगे, इंशाल्लाह दुआ में याद रखिएगा, खुदा हाफिज। घर गए तो जोजा ने पूछा कि कल कौन मजलिस पढ़ रहा है? अरे वो कमाल मेहदवी कह रहे थे पढ़ने वाले हैं। दिस चाइल्ड इज नाउ वॉचिंग। मौलाना साहब आपकी मजलिस बहुत अच्छी है, हम सभी को लेकर आएंगे, दुआ में याद रखिएगा, इतना एहतराम। और घर में जैसे पहुंचे और वाइफ ने पूछा वो कमाल मेहदवी पढ़ने वाले, कल देखें। दिस चाइल्ड इज नोटिसिंग दिस, noticing what you've spoken to him and what you've spoken inside. This has been going into his mind. This is how you need to live the life, which is not how you need to live the life. You are putting wrong things into his mind. With him such ek to you are teaching your child to be having a dual personality, like mentioned before. एक तरीके से जब हो तो इस तरह बिहेव करो, उस तरीके से हो तो उस तरीके से बिहेव करो। दिस इज वन सेकंड वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। उसके सामने आपने अपनी ज़ौजा से कहा वो कमाल मेहदवी पढ़ने वाले, आई होप मौलाना इज नॉट ऑफेंडेड, आई एम जस्ट, उनके एहतराम के लिए आप सब लोग कहिएगा हुज्जतुल इस्लाम वल मुस्लिमीन मौलाना कमाल मेहदवी साहब क़िबला, बड़े मोहतरम है हमारे नज़दीक माशाल्लाह, मुलाकात नहीं हुई लेकिन बहुत उनकी तारीफ़ें सुन रहे हैं, और खुदा उनको सलामत रखे। उनके वालिद साहब का बहुत उनकी फ़ालियत है पाकिस्तान में, कराची में, तो खुदा उनको भी सलामत रखे। बट दिस इज व्हाट आई एम सेइंग, इंशाल्लाह बाद में बात करेंगे। देखिए उनके सामने इतना एहतराम, पीछे से नाम लेंगे। अब ये बच्चा देख रहा है कि सामने इतना फोनिंग ऑफ लव, बिहाइंड हिम The problem is, you know what? You're instigating into his mind to behave dual, one. And second, the moment you say, oh, come on, Mehdavi padne wale. The moment you say that and you debase and humiliate him, you have reduced this alim's rank in the eyes of your child. इसका नतीजा आपको पता है क्या है? This is the same alim whom you want your child to learn good manners and deen from. Once you discredit him in his eyes, you think he's going to learn something from him. Oh, my dead body. अरे मौलाना बाप तो हमारा इनको नाम से पुकारता है, वो चिल्लाते रहे मेंबर पर से कुछ असर नहीं होगा, 10 साल बैठेगा कुछ नहीं सीखेगा. Don't do that. Don't disrespect an alim in the house. You are debasing him and lowering him in the eyes of your child. Next time when he sits over here in the Imam Barga listening to his majlis, yahan se jayega, yahan se niklega. At whose peril? Aapke bachcho ke liye. Why? Because you felt it okay to lower and debase him in the confines of the house by adopting a duality policy. Don't do this. Having said that, we come to the community involvement. And then the final session of du'as, which is very important. Community involvement becomes very good and very important in the development of a child. Dekhiye, again, just as madrasa has a limited scope for the upbringing of your child, it has to have the support of the family, the home, the house and the home. Similarly, one part that complements the effects and the efforts of the house and the home is the community. The community has got a very big part to play. And I'll give you a couple of examples. And I'm not here to teach the management anything. I'm a visiting scholar. But I will tell you what during our visits worldwide we observe. Those days are gone when centers were only imam bargas and masajids. It doesn't work anymore. So if you're planning something for your future, for an enhancement of your center, it cannot be an imam barga and masjid faqat. It has to be an Islamic center. When I say Islamic center, it should have the ability to cater for religious needs, for madrasa needs, for amusements, for sporting activities, for senior citizens, for networking, cafeteria, sports facilities and enhancements, everything under one roof. Why am I saying this? The reason I'm saying this is this. If a girl who's 15 and 17 wants to go to the gym, what do you say? Somebody's daughter says, Baba, मुझे जो है अभी मेरे सब friends लोग जो है वो aerobics के लिए जाते हैं, मुझे भी aerobics के लिए जाना है. What happened? Do you send your child? Would you send your daughter? First of all, aerobics is without music, so there's no aerobics. To have that beat. Secondly, you're going over there, you don't know whether the instructor is a female or a male. Your girl is 19 years old. She is into the bloom of her life. If that person happens to be a hunky-dory, green-eyed, six-pack guy, my friend, you're in trouble. What do you do? You say, beta, jo hai wo munasib nahi hai, you don't go, falan, sahi nahi hai, music hai, falan, falan, na madam hai. Is that what you do in today's time? हमारे ज़माने में ठीक था, बैठ घर पे बैठ जाओ, हम बैठ जाते थे. Is today's child going to say that? It says, you have restricted me in one avenue. Give me an alternative. Then I won't go there. Islam always has this. Islam never says don't do and there's no alternative. It'll always give you an alternative. Islam always, when it stops you from doing something, will give you an alternative. It says no fornication. Nikah karo, do it. Haram na khao, khinzir na khao, laham khao, meat khao. Alcohol na piyo, Pepsi पी सकते हैं. फला जगह पर ना जाओ, इस जगह पे आप जा सकते हैं. फला काम ना करो, ये काम कर सकते. Why I'm saying this? In today's time, we need to give an alternative to our kids if we stop them from a particular activity. And that's why we've got centers sprouting all over the world. I have seen them. They have centers in which you have sporting complexes, amusement sessions, seniors के लिए, बच्चों के लिए, मदरसा और इमाम बारगाह तो है ही, seniors के लिए है, cafeteria है, 2 cafeterias. I have been to, it might sound mind-boggling, but I have been to places where there are 2 badminton courts. Like, why 2 badminton courts? 1 is enough. Massive. You know, इतनी height पे कि जब shuttlecock ऊपर जाए, it doesn't hit the roof. Very well planned out. 2 है. But then one is for the girls and one is for the boys. But why did you need 2? Could you not have separate timings? Says Maulana, we've got this policy. We don't want our ladies to be restricted by the timings of the males. So if you have a separate one, the ladies can come whenever they want. The males can come whenever they want. 2 gymnasiums, state of the art. Everything that you would want in a gym is there. 2. 2 की क्या जरूरत है? इतना 70, 80,000, $100,000 US dollars, not Australian dollars. For 2. Says we don't want to restrict our ladies. अगर जो हम एक रखेंगे तो जिस टाइम पे जेंट्स आ रहे हैं, मेल्स आ रहे हैं, वो टाइम पे लेडीज नहीं आ सकेंगी. We don't want that restriction for the ladies. If the gents want to come at 7 o'clock, and if we have only one, then ladies cannot come. We want to have 2. 7 o'clock gents come, 7 o'clock ladies come. You need to think forward. वो टाइम गया because you're in the West. ये तो इंडिया पाकिस्तान में भी जो शुरू आहिस्ता आहिस्ता हो जाएगा, लेकिन वहां भी टाइम लगेगा. West is too much. You can't. If you stop, a time will come, your child will say, okay, then what do I do? Gym में नहीं जाना. Mom, Baba, I want to stay fit. What alternative do I have? You suggest. फिर क्या बताइएगा आप? नहीं, हमारे पास कोई alternative नहीं, मगर आप जिम में नहीं जाएगा. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Either he will or she will rebel, or they will go without you knowing. Community needs to think about this. They need to plan out well. Think big. Don't think, oh, हमें जो है अभी जो है हमारे 300-400 family है. Let's cater for 500.